If the idea of tying your purpose to your passion and creating profit from that is intriguing to you, then I promise you, you're going to want to listen to this episode. This is the Secret Sauce Podcast with Chad Treese and Lacey Moores, where we want to help people build big businesses and live big lives. And we think that there's not a magic bullet for doing that, but there is a secret sauce. So a lot of these are going to be just the ingredients that can help you make up a secret sauce to build a big business and live a big life. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chad Treese here with Lacey Moores, and this is the Secret Sauce Podcast. And we've got our amazing guest, Todd Scrima. He is a genius, huge inspiration to Lacey and I, my personal coach right now, also yours, I believe, right? And we're excited to share him with the world once again. So let's talk about purpose, passion, profit. So actually, some of this was inspired through Lacey, so I'll tell that story here in a minute. I think, so this is the easiest way I could describe this concept. My stepmother was a fourth grade school teacher for 35 years. And if you asked her why she did it, she'd just look at you with these big old Garfield eyes and say, I just love those children. Mm-hmm. And that's what made her such a great school teacher. And we're like, oh, Todd, that's normal. You know, my fourth grade school teacher was the same. My mom's a school teacher, the same. You know, so it's so easy for some professions to have so much purpose. Well, not too many people are teaching for the profit.
Yes, so I get that. I have two of my friends that were college roommates, and they became firemen, and they're passionate about being firemen.
Yeah,
Really passionate. Like, you know, the truck looks amazing, and they do have some stories about taking the kid out of the burning building. You know, it doesn't happen that much, but the 2 or 3 times in your career that it does, it's a big deal.
Yep.
Hey. They would come home and brag about, hey, we stopped this fire. It was going to cost, you know, the insurance company at least $5 million on this factory. We put it out so fast, it's probably $500,000. You know, and they were proud of that. Like,
yeah,
that was
another P, the fourth P. Like,
yes.
they have big pride in that.
Yes, that was a big deal to them. In mortgage and real estate, you know, the industry that we are in, I have seen that the last few years, like this is since the 80s, since we had such a down market. Okay, so it's been hard. So, and it's one of the things that's been hard for me is how do you keep that same passion when you're not making as much money, but yet you're working as much or more,
Probably
I
more.
would say, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, what is it that fires it up? So about a year ago, Lacey and I were coaching, and we coach in groups of 3, and I was kind of on this kick, and I'm like, you know, what is your purpose behind doing this besides just making money? Because I would, if you're just doing something for money, it's maybe like eating Rice Krispies for dinner. Like, it just doesn't quite do it. And you're like, well, Todd, I work because I gotta, you know, pay the bills or whatever. You especially find this with people that, like you guys that are further along in your career and you've saved money, and I was in that same position, and at first, when I was in my 20s, it was just about making money, right? It was so excited.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, for a while there, it is enough.
Yeah.
Just the money, the thought of the money is enough. Yeah.
No problem. But I will tell you, it was about the 8th loan I closed as a loan officer 32, 33 years ago. And this young person calls me, and finally I'm like, hey, you sound kind of young. What, you're really getting a mortgage loan? You know, you got to be 18 to buy a house is what I'm thinking. And she says, I'm calling from my parents. She was 16. They're Vietnamese. They don't speak English. I said, oh, they're buying a house? Yeah. I said, let me make this easy. I'll just come to your house. You'll be the interpreter. It'll be great. So I sat down in the living room, about this size. There's 16 family members. Me and mom and dad and their daughter, and, you know, a bunch of others just hanging out, watching us, you know. And took the loan application. I go to leave, and, you know, this family didn't have a lot of money. She tries to slip me a $100 bill. I said, no, the company pays me. I appreciate that. Very honored. Long story short, loan closes, and there's a receptionist up front, Giza, and Giza says, Todd, hey, you have a bunch of people here in the lobby. It's like 16 of them. I'm like, I don't have an appointment, but I'll be right up. So I go up there. Here was this Vietnamese family. They just closed, and instead of, moving they shut down the family. Everyone came over, and they made 4 plates of Vietnamese food, like 50 pounds each, like literally feed 40, 50 people.
Catering.
And, we're hugging and we're crying. And, just was my first time I really felt, wow, I'm doing something
I love
here.
what I do.
Yeah, yes, I'm making money, but I'm really doing something here. And that is that whole tie-in. So if you think about it, if you find people that are really top 10% of their profession, I would argue with you that they have a deep passion behind what they're doing.
Right.
With
any longevity whatsoever.
Yeah, people that have 20, 30, 40-year careers, they have that passion. And I think either some people have lost it or they don't know how to maintain it. It's easy to be passionate when you're making $100,000 a month, but when you're not, you got to look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm sure the market will recover, right? There's a bunch of weirdness around COVID and all the stuff that happened, but do I still love what I do?
Right.
And why do I love it? And only you can answer those things. Like no one else can answer those things. So Lacey said, hey, make sure you be tactical. So this is the emotional tactics is if you wake up on a Saturday, now for realtors that's normal, but for a lot of people it's not. But just to use that as a metaphor.
Your day off.
Your day off, and you're happy to work on a project that involves your business. That's passion.
Right.
Secondly, when you talk to someone about it, it lights you up. Like you literally see their face light up. Their eyes get wider. They smile. They laugh. That's passion. Okay, watch people with children, right? Last night I'm running around this 1-year-old cutest little niece I've ever had, and I'm in pure joy. And everything's like a wonder to her, like a pencil. We were painting, we were doing arts and crafts. It's just amazing that a paintbrush could paint on a canvas, and when you see that and people light up about whatever that subject is, that means they're passionate about it. And what was my third one? I just forgot it.
If you love talking about it?
Yeah.
No, it's Saturday.
If you
It'll
wake
come
up
to-
filled with passion to do it, if you
It
light
turns
up...
into profit, though, or the money.
Well, yeah, I'll think of the third one in a minute, but I've actually seen this with your hospitality, and I've seen this with your purpose with the mission. So this year, myself and my daughter, my girlfriend, get to go with you on that trip in 4 months or something. So I'm pressing Lacey on a coaching call, I don't know, roughly a year ago, and she wrote out, and I won't remember off the top of my head, but it was like, my results are this, I do this, and I give 10% of my income to an orphanage, in Mexico to help support these abused children. And so she
You
went.
don't even know where you're going?
Huh?
You don't even know where you're going? You're going to Guatemala?
Guatemala.
It's fine.
It's on the calendar. I know we booked
You're
it.
going.
And so, Lacey tied her way of part of the purpose of her business is not just serving clients, not just serving her family, but now serving underprivileged children.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great tie-in. Doesn't really have a damn thing to do with mortgage, but to you it does because you made
It's
it
an
that
end
way.
to a means.
Yes.
Or a means to an end. Yeah, that's what
Yes.
it means to an end, right? Yeah.
In your hospitality, like, I've seen you have so much joy in that, and it really spread across the country within our company. People were like, what is Chad doing? You've given talks about it. You've taught lunch and learns on it. And people are like, wow, I can really just make my purpose to blow people away with service level, with strategy, with how to do this, how to get ahead. And it really has taken hold for you, but then you're also giving it away to other people that you coach and within our company.
And I needed it, just for the record. I
Oh.
know we're
Yeah,
short on time
explain
here,
that.
but
You were
like
crispy.
I was
You were crispy.
post-COVID mortgage era. Chad was not fun to be around.
Yep.
Prior to Unreasonable Hospitality, like I wasn't really sure. I didn't love the business anymore.
Yep.
The money piece didn't mean as much to me anymore after COVID, where it was like literally just printing money, right? And it became really easy. And so now it's hard again. And now I have to figure out how to go do this thing that's hard, that was so easy for the 2 years leading up to that. Like I was really, I never voiced it, but I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this anymore. And so, yeah, that was just, it came at the perfect time. Like it was like delivered on a silver platter to me, the Unreasonable Hospitality. Like I know for a fact it was put in front of me for a reason, to like get my passion back for it. And like, yeah, it's become contagious. Our whole team loves it. And
But also important to know, whether it's me or you or Lacey or anybody else, everyone's going to go through those times.
Yep.
definitely.
And
yeah.
so you're not, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I may have lost my pet. It's normal to go through that.
Right.
Yeah,
And if
different
you're like,
seasons.
it hasn't happened yet, it probably will.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Different
It
seasons.
took 22 years for that to hit me. But it hit me like a ton of bricks. So refinding something that brings that passion back, because Unreasonable Hospitality doesn't really have, it's not directly tied to mortgages. I don't need to do that to do mortgages. But if I wake up every day and think, my whole goal for today is, can I make somebody's day?
Yeah.
Can I put a smile on somebody's face? Can I leave them better than I found them? That jazzes me up, and I am excited to go to work. I'm excited to work on other projects. That, like, it all now ties back to, I have an opportunity through mortgage to make people's day.
Yeah.
Well, and Chad, I think about that, and just to go a little bit deeper with it. I knew you way before you found Unreasonable Hospitalities. We've worked together for years. We've been good friends for years. And yes, I would be the first to say you were crispy, like, and you weren't you. And when you found that, I still remember when, at our sales retreat, they put you on the big stage, and just the passion of it. And I was just so happy, and I was so proud, because I'm like, that's Chad. Like, people are finally getting to see Chad with your passion. And when you're passionate about something, you bring it, like, and I think that's everybody. Like, so that's why it's so important. You bring so much more to life,
Right.
in our industry and in our relationships, friendship. I mean, all those things, and gosh, it feels good. Like, I remember texting Robin, because that's the Chad I know. I was so proud, and so it changes everything. And so
Yeah, it does,
I think
for
it's
sure.
so good when you can stop and you do go through the season and you are crispy or whatever it is. You don't have to stay there, and you have to find that, and you got to figure out what it is. But I mean, you had us go through and rewrite, because we do change in our seasons, and rewrite your mission statement, because it does change. What does that look like? And you made us spend some time on it. You're like, nope, go deeper. Like, I want you to think deeper on that. And okay, and you do, and then when you find it and when you do it again, it's like you're excited about it.
Yeah.
I've told you, like, this last year, even though it's been so hard, it's been my favorite year in the industry. And that rocks people's world that I say that, but it's because I finally, like, I'm so passionate and happy about my team, our size, what the impact that we're having, like, all of those things now. And I'm okay with it. I've been huge, I've been small, I've done all of this, and man, this is where I love it. And I feel so productive, but also balanced and all those things. And so I wouldn't have really tied all that together had you not pushed us into re-looking at that again, and where are you at right now? And it does, man, it gets you fired up, doesn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I mean, I'm so grateful for it. Like, it has been the most energizing thing for me, for sure.
I remember seeing you on the big stage that you're talking about, and people were truly moved because of your passion. And that also plays out with individual clients. It plays out with your team. Like, if you're buzzkilled, like, I always go back to this. Like, people are, there's a big piece of us that are animalistic, and we can pick up on things. We pick up when people are scared. We pick up subconsciously when people are depressed. We pick up when they're, in their negative thoughts or whatever it is. And it's just like that saying, you walk in your home, after a long day, and you kind of tell the mood that the spouse is in, right? That's that.
Yep.
Well, everyone has that. And so if you're sitting in front of a listing and you're not that excited, and the next person is, they can tell that. And they don't say that first realtor didn't seem excited. They say, I just think Cindy, the second one's gonna work hard.
There was just something about her.
There's something about her,
right?
And that's how that plays out. And so people underestimate that in sales and influence a lot. And so when you do have these things that you're passionate about, it just shows up. I was excited. I'd get up at 4:00 in the morning this morning to drive here, and we're going to bed, and Adrian's like, what are all you doing tomorrow? I said, we're shooting some podcasts, and then we're giving a talk to some realtors, and then we're having a barbecue at the house with all the employees, and it's going to be a great day. She's like, man, you get fired up about that stuff. I'm like, I do. I think it's fun. Right?
Yeah, my wife doesn't understand it either half the time when I'm talking to her about stuff, and she's like, I don't get it. But, that's okay. Other people don't have to get it. They just have to see it in you. They have to, you're just, emanating that. Is that the right word? Emanating?
Yeah.
You're just vibrating at a higher frequency, and, that is what it's all about. When you find that purpose and you tie it with passion, it just changes everything in the way that people view you, the way that you are to people. It's just different.
It's an attractor, and it's a sales skill or influence. People don't like that term sometimes, sales skill. It's an influence skill, right? You walk in, and I have this friend who's top 10 in the country for AAA insurance, and we went to college together, and we've been friends ever since. And she lights up a room, and she is fun, and she is get it done. And I'm like, it's no wonder. She had 1 year she was number 1 in the country, but she's always top 10 last several years. And people are like, how does she do that? Listen to her. I've went to her office before to sign a policy, and I was walking towards her office, and I could hear her from 30 feet away. She's so, going after this client in a fun way. And if that should be obvious to the other salespeople, there's 20 other salespeople in her office. She's number 1 in the country.
And why?
And it's obvious why.
Yep.
Right.
But people don't, they're like, she's just got God gifted her with gab, or, they say all these things. I'm like, no, she cares more.
Well, she has her passion, and maybe you don't.
Yes.
And that's why it doesn't make sense to you. That's why you don't understand how she, and so really I think that's the point of this is, man, if you're not feeling excited, if you're not, if you're comparing yourself to other people and wondering how they do that, it could totally come down to the fact that you need to figure out what that is or what's missing and why you don't have that excitement, that passion.
I always say business is like a game, so life is like a game. So when you're in halftime or the end of the quarter, take some time to reevaluate that stuff, as we all did, right? Everyone has to go through this. And there was a time, I know, probably a year and a half ago, and I was like a month of funk. And I'm like, okay, got to talk to some people. I end up talking to Robin, I end up talking to Jim, talk to Dave Kammerer, and I kind of reset my passion button, okay, this is it, right? Changed my vision a little bit, and I've been fired up ever since. It's normal to go through those quarters and those half times where you got to reevaluate. And if you're not sure what to do, that's also normal. Ask some smart people, right? If you're in a coaching program or, brainstorming with you guys, if you're local, those kind of things, that's what's going to work. That's what's going to allow you to get out of that funkiness. Right? You don't want to walk through your life like Thigpen, that dark cloud and peanuts hanging over him all the time.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that, right? It's not a fun life.
Chad, what I'm hearing there, for you and me though, where Todd blows us away is how often he takes his temperature, right? And I think that, that's something that, we should take our temperature more. And I know our listeners, that's what I hear in that you've learned a skill of making yourself take that temperature a lot faster. So when you do see yourself struggling, you can figure it out and recorrect a lot faster. So your recovery time's just faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I hear that a lot, and I appreciate you push us sometimes to do that when you see it in us. But I know there's people that I can help do that as well, and then I can help let them see, hey, you're in this sooner.
Big time. And it's a really good reminder for me to get out of my own way on that piece of it, as far as going and making sure that our partners and the people, realtor partners and our partners at home, all those people, checking in with them and making sure that can we lend a hand in that? Because that's been an uncomfortable place for me to like not get into that before. And it's like now such a big piece. I know that I would be forever changed, a different negative person without it. So like, you know, sometimes people just need the push or the nudge, right?
Mean something.
Yeah.
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 And same with your
Awesome.
spouse, same when you're, you know, Jay Shetty says, once a month I just ask my wife, scale of 1 to 10, how am I doing? Right? And I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm less than an 8, okay, what's
can
one
I
thing I
fix?
could do better? What's something that's bugging you? You know that it's the same in your personal life as it is your business. It's being self-aware and pushing yourself to be uncomfortable, like you just said.
That's hilarious
That's
because
a
I
good
say that
tactic.
to my customers all the time. I'm like, if you don't have a level of clarity that's at least an 8 by the time we leave here today, then I'm not doing a very good job. But I've never thought about having that
Yeah.
discussion with my wife. So
Yeah.
There you go.
it's
Great.
I'm always learning. Always learning
Always
something
learning.
from
That's
Todd.
a great tactic. I love it. Well, I think that's good. I think we've got
Yeah,
some
the la-
really good tactics. My head's going crazy on the ways I can use it.
Definitely. You guys, if this resonated with you,
Yes.
we would love to chat with you more about it. Share it with somebody if you're a little lost in that and want to brainstorm on it. We are here for you. Please reach
Absolutely.
out to us. This is actually something we love talking about, so we would love to do that with you.
Yes.
More than anything, we're just glad that you're here. Thanks for tuning in, and
thank you.
we'll see you next time. Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Todd.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd.